using part of the formula. So let's go back and revisit the formula that we learned in the last video. So you have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Well, we're going to find what x is, right? So x is equal to negative b plus or minus, as we're going to get two values, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, what happens if we don't want to solve, right? So say we have, what we're solving for are these 2 points when y is equal to 0. What if by chance we want to solve for this point right here at the very top? So how we would solve that, which is, right, our axis of symmetry for the x value. So x is actually equal to negative b over 2a. So we're going to use a part of the formula to find the axis of symmetry. And then what we do with this is we're going to plug in the value to the equation to find y. So now let's go ahead and look at an example. So example 1. You're throwing a fundraiser event to raise money for Alzheimer's Association. The event capacity is 450 people. With the ticket prices at $100 per person last year, 275 people came. With doing some research, for every $5 the ticket price is lowered, attendance increased by 15 people. So it will be the gross profit on the ticket sales. So we want to make sure we price it just right, and what would be our gross profit if we did it just right. So what we're solving for, so we're going to have a graph that goes ahead and looks something like this. And we're trying to find this top part. No, this is probably definitely not right. It's probably going to be a little bit more to the right, or on the x-axis. On the x, it's going to be a little bit more to the right on the x-axis. So we're given this equation. So what happens, right, we have $100 per person. What happens if we decrease it by $5? So our variable will change, right? If we decrease it by 2, 3, 4, right? For each increment, that'd be 4 times 5, so that'd be $20. So then it'd only be $80. Meanwhile, when we do that, that means we're increasing by 15 people for each increment change, potentially. But there's going to be a point where it doesn't work out anymore. So we want to find that certain sweet spot. So x is our variable. Now let's go ahead and just multiply out, right? So we'll just use the FOIL method. We have 100 times 275, and what we get? 27,500. So we did these. Let's now do these. So 15 times 100 is just going to be 1,500x. Now let's multiply these together. What if we go 5 now times 275? Well, we get 1,375. And that's x. And we have a negative sign because we want to make sure we multiply that negative sign. Now we have the last one. So minus 5 times 15, which is going to be 75, but we can definitely double check. We get 75, and that's negative 75 x squared, because we have two x's, so we now have x squared. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So we have negative 75 x squared. Then we can add these together. So we get 125. And so we're given our equation. So usually we can just put y is equal to 0 and that works, so it's perfect. But this time, right, so we can just put this is equal to 0. So let's go ahead and find our axis of symmetry, right? So axis of symmetry. And the reason why this is going to go down is because of this. This is really important. We have a negative x squared. So that makes this graph go down, which is negative. So therefore, we're going to have a certain maximum spot that we want to achieve here for increased profit or for gross profit here. So let's go ahead and look at this. So the axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative b over 2a. So we remember ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Well, x is equal to negative b. This is negative 125 over 2 times negative 75. Well, let's go ahead. 2 times 75 is 150. This is a negative, so we have the negative on top and the bottom, so that means it's just going to become positive. Let's go ahead and just divide by 25 on top and bottom. So we get 5 over 6, and this is positive now. So we're just a little bit to the right of the origin, so 5, 6. Now let's go ahead and just plug that in, and we'll get our max profit. So we can go ahead. So negative 75, 5, 6 squared plus 125, 5 over 6, and then plus 27,500, and we're solving for y. Okay, so now all we have to do is just multiply this all out. So here we have really negative 75 times 25 over 36. Now let's get our calculators out. Now let's get the calculators out. So we have 75 times 25 divided by 36, and we get 52.08. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth because we're dealing with money here. Now we have 125 times 5 divided by 6, and we get 104.17. Now the one thing I forgot to do is bring down that negative sign. So our answer, let's go ahead and just add these together. So we have plus 27,500 minus 52.08, and we get 27,552 and 9 cents. But let's just go ahead and just round it to the nearest dollar. So our answer, y, is 27,000, this is money, 552. So that would be the max profit. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we want to set the ticket price when x is equal to 5 over 6. That will give us a maximum profit. What would that be? Well, if we look back, right, we have this 100 minus 5x. So that would be the ticket price. And then we want to find out what that is, right? Well, if we put 5, 6, that means 5 over 6 is a little bit less than 1. So we're basically going to have something like $96 for, we'll just round, $96 for the ticket price. to give max profit. Now, why did we do that? It's because x was given us as 5 over 6, so if we got our calculators out, right? 5 times 5 is 25 divided by 6. And then we would take this 4.2. Let's go ahead and go 100 minus 4.2. We get 95.8. So it's like $96. So that's what that means. To get us to the maximum profit, we need x to be 5.6, which gives us about a ticket price around $96.